Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Okay, at this point we want to talk about the third property of an ism, third property of the noun or supernoun, and it is adad, which is plurality. Okay, where's my mouse? It is plurality. So adad plurality. Okay. So just like in regular English, we have nouns, which are singular. For example, a pen is singular. Arabic, that is qalam. Qalamun. Okay. So in Arabic, to make something dual is actually very, very easy. Qala. All you have to do is add a alif nun. Alif nun, nun has a kasra. That's it. You can say plus alif nun. Very simple. So these two are now equivalent. Qala mani. You're gonna see here that this dropped the tanween and it became fatha, because you cannot say that you can't keep the dhamma and have a fathas and have an alif after. Alif is always going to be with the fatha always. So even though this is a fatha, this is still in a marfu' state. This is still in a marfu' state. They're both marfu'. So this is marfu' state. Marfu' state. Okay, so once again, here's another example of a word being in the marfu' state and not having a dhamma. Okay, here it's clear that it's in marfu' state, that is in the state of dhamma, in the marfu' state, and here it's not, and it is indicated by just knowing. The alif nun is indicative of the marfu' state. You have to just know that. What if you wanted to make qala man dual? How would you make this dual? You don't add alif nun, you actually add ya and nun. And now that's going to be, this has the jazm or the sukoon, and this is going to have the kasra on it. Qala, if we add this here, it's going to be qala maini. Qala maini. And this is two pens. These are both in the both in the mansub state. Mansub state. Okay, so once again here the mansub state is easily recognized because of the two fatha, but however here you have to understand it by the symbol, right? And that is qala maini, the aini sound. And you have the last dual, which is going to be qala قلم. This also is 2 pens, and this is in the majroor state. So in this case, you actually still have the same conjugation or the same pattern as you do in the mansub state. قلمين, 2 pens. Okay, and this is actually these are both majroor state. So the mansub state, one representing the fatha and the one representing the kasra, here are both going to be aini sounds, and the marfu state is going to be an ani sound. How can you tell then which state this is? It's going to be by context. So if you have an association, or if you have a preposition which then where the following word declines, you know it's going to be majroor. If you have an object, for example, then you can say it is mansub. So don't worry about that too much. Just know that how these are represented. So this is very easy. Either you're adding ani or you're adding aini. Aini sounds. Okay? Cool. And here we have a cool and convenient chart which allows you to see it in summarized form. So you have kitabun, which is marfu', and you have kitabani. We said you have to add the alif nun. Let me write that down again so it's clear. So for marfu' marfu' you add plus alif nun. For majroor and mansub, you have to add ya and nun. Cool. So you see here, we see kitabun, add alif nun, kitabani. And for kitaban and kitabin, the mansub and the majroor states, you add aini sound, kitabaini. And we said you determine this by the context, which what it actually is. That's easier. It's easier. It sounds easier than it actually is. So don't worry about that too much. Next we have muslimun, and you add the alif nun sound. Said marfu' here was alif nun sound, and that's muslimani. And similarly again, for musliman and muslimin, in the case of mansub and majroor, you add the aini sound, muslimaini. Here we have a feminine version of the noun, muslimatun, which is indicated by the ta marbuta. So you have muslimatun. You also still add the alif nun sounds, muslimatani. Once again, straightforward. And similarly for the mansub and majroor states, muslimatan, muslimatin, you add the aini sound, muslimataini. Okay, that is fairly straightforward. That doesn't get any more complicated than that. Okay, moving on to plurals. Jama'. Okay. Jama'. Okay, there are 2 types of plurals: sound plurals or broken plurals. Okay, sound plurals and broken plurals. You actually all know this, what the difference is here, and we'll talk about this. Let's say you have the word house. What's the plural of that? It is houses. Very straightforward. You add an s. And let's say the word potato equals potatoes. Once again, straightforward stuff. Okay, These are sound plurals. Why is it? Because look here, you have the word house. Can you find the word house in the plural version? Yes, you can. It is right here. Okay, bam. That means it's sound. Once again, the word potato. Can you find the entirety of the word potato unchanged inside the plural? Yes, you can. Potato is right here. Unless you have sound plurals where the form is maintained. Do we have unsound plurals, broken plurals? Yes, we do. For example, the word moose. Wait, no, what the heck? Uh, the word goose. The plural of the word goose is geese. So for consistency, we'll use these different colors. Geese. Now, in this one, you have the word goose. Can you find the word goose in the word geese? No, you can't. Okay, therefore it is missing. Therefore it is broken plurals. So, once again, if you can find the original word in the resulting word, where it's plural, then it is sound. If not, like this example, goose, geese, mouse, mice, what else is there? Die and dice, things of that nature. They are broken plurals. Similarly, Arabic, you have the same thing going on. So let me just get rid of this stuff. So what do you do if you want to make a sound plural? All you have to do in Arabic for the marfu' state is add waw and noon. Boom. Super easy. For the mansub state or the majroor state, same concept where they cover both. You add the ya noon. Okay. Also, in the in the plural, the difference here between the previous one is that you have to have the preceding letter. Let's clear this up a little bit. The preceding letter should be in kasra, and then you have your ya noon. Okay, and previously it was alif. You previously had fatha and then ya, so you had aini sound. Here you have ina sound. Okay. So what does that look like? That looks like, I'm gonna get rid of this stuff again. What does that look like if you had the word muslimun, that looks like muslimuna, in the marfu state. If you have musliman or muslimin, this looks like muslimina. Okay, very straightforward. Okay, so let's review a little bit. If you're in dual and you want to make it dual marfu', you add alif noon sound. So muslimani. And if you're in the majroor or the mansub state, you make it dual, you add the aini sound. We said the ya noon, and it's preceded by the fatha, muslimaini. Okay, in plural, you add waw noon for the plural, muslimun, muslimuna for rafa, for marfu', and then in mansub and majroor, you for musliman or muslimin, you add the ina sound, the ya noon sound, preceded by the kasra. That looks like muslimina. How about in this example here, for the feminine, all we did was added to the ta, like we just added the alif noon here, added the ya noon here. However, that's actually not the case for plural. So in plurals for the feminine noun, it is a slight bit different. So we'll say M and F here. So the marfu state for the sound plural feminine noun, you're going to add an alif and a ta. Okay. Now obviously because there's an alif here, this is going to have the fatha. So whatever sound is going to be atun. And similarly for the mansub and the majroor states, you will be adding the fatha and the alif again and the ta again, but this time it's going to be kasra. That's it. So what does that look like? That looks like either muslimatun or muslimatin. It's really ugly, but sorry, I'll deal with this. Marfu state, and the majroor and mansub state for the feminine. And here we had the mansub and majroor state for the masculine, and the marfu state for the masculine plural. Okay, easy. We're gonna now post a chart here to make life a little bit easier. Okay, so here you have the chart all nice and cleared up now. So sound plurals, once again, the marfu states had the una sound. For the masculine, for the feminine, add the atun sound. And for the mansub and majroor states, for the masculine, add the ina sound. And for the feminine, you add the atin sound. Okay, really easy stuff. This is all we always do this, and it's really straightforward. Okay, how about broken plurals? This kind of gets a little bit messy, but it's not hard to teach, but it's hard to, I guess, get used to it. In the sense that broken plurals are literally how you hear them. So you have to just figure out what they are, what they mean. What they are and how they're formed. So let's say you have the word kitabun. Okay. You know, if I asked you to make this dual in the same state, you could say kitabani. And if I ask for the mansub with the majroor state, then you would say kitabaini. Easy. But this is a broken plural. So if I asked you what the broken plural was of this, you don't know. Like if you weren't an English speaker and someone asked you what the plural of goose was, you probably say gooses, right? That's your best get. And someone says no, it's not the usual convention, then you don't know. So there's a multitude of different patterns. Like for example, so if you start with the default word fa'ala, you have different patterns such as af'al, fa'ala, fu'ila, stuff like that. So you'll have different patterns, and as if they meet the pattern, then it is a broken plural. What usually happens is that broken plurals fall into multiple different categories or different patterns, so they can have multiple different forms of being plural, and it might even like you don't know which way it's going to be. So for example, you have goose to geese, and you have die to dice. Okay, one of them you added ice, one of them you added ees. Okay, so those are two different ways of making that broken plural. In Arabic, you have a multitude of different examples. The only way you're going to know is by looking in a dictionary. That's literally the only way. Or you have to just know it. Someone's going to tell you. Same thing. Literally, you have to just learn it. So, the plural, broken plural of kitabun is kutubun. Kutubun. And similarly, the mansub state of this is going to be kutuban, and the majrur state of this is going to be kutubin. So these are the broken plurals, or the jama' mukassar for nouns. How do you know this? You have to just literally learn them. There's no shortcut. You have to open your dictionary and just read up on it. Like you pull up a dictionary, you go to the kitab section, and it'll tell you it's in this pattern, or it'll write it out for you. Sometimes you have multiple of them, and then there's a common one that most people use, and you have to figure that one out as well. And finally, we have this nice fancy little chart here, and this summarizes literally everything we did, just all the different states. Rafa' nasab and jar state. In the sound masculine, you add the ani sound for dual, una sound for plural. For nasab and jar, you add ani sounds for dual and ina sounds for plural. In the feminine noun, you add the ani sound and the atun sound for dual and plural for raf, for marfu state. And for the mansub and majrur state, you add the aini sounds and the atin sounds for the dual and plural respectively. We already covered this, obviously. This is just a summarized version for you. And here an example of the broken plural, where you have kitabun, kitaban, kitabin, all the different singular states which are normal, and then you have the dual states which are also normal, kitabani, kitabaini, kitabaini. But when you get to the broken plural, it doesn't follow our conventions that we just mentioned here. Instead, it is kutubun, kutuban, kutubin, and you only know this by looking at the dictionary or someone taught you. Okay, you already know some of these, like what's the plural of alim, and you're not gonna say alimuna. What is used actually, and everyone knows this, is ulama, right? So sometimes you already know the broken plural, like masjid or masajid. You just know them, and you have to just realize you know them. Otherwise, you can look. Okay, and that concludes this section.